the future is Steven Stamkos. So we touched on this a little bit last week, but we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive here because, yeah, it's likely that he's going to come back home minus 250 odds there as you see scrolling across the bottom of the screen. But it's fun to think about the fact that he could go some other places. So let's start kicking the tires on some other destinations and some rumored spots here for him. So, I know the Toronto hometown thing, but, I think that would just require way too much moving parts around and stuff like that. And Toronto's got bigger issues. Chris talked about Montreal last week. Come back, play with your buddy Martin St. Louis. You get to have an impact on a young, fun roster that maybe could sneak a playoff spot if you're there. That's a possibility. If Florida doesn't bring back Sam Reinhart, they've got some money. What a way to stick it to Tampa if you go out and get Stamkos. We talked about Utah being a long shot. And then you got Nashville in the mix too, where if, he wanted to go try somewhere else but not be too far from home, that would be it. But out of all those teams, where would you like to see him land, and where do you think he ends up landing?
I think he stays in Tampa, like you guys do. If it would be interesting if the owners in Utah decide they want to spend, and that's their big move to welcome that team over there. But the team I'd like to see him go is Nashville. I really like to see him fit there. They were just, at the right end of the playoffs there and almost won a round. I wouldn't mind seeing him go to Nashville.
He probably stays in Tampa Bay just because it's easy for him. But I don't know why Montreal wouldn't be a great spot for him. He doesn't have to play in Toronto, right? I don't think he's going to Toronto. I don't think he's going to go there and live in that mess. After watching what's happening to Mitch Marner, no, he's not going there to deal with that. And Toronto has bigger issues that they have to deal with here. So, and look, Steven, like I said, a couple weeks ago, you can just leave your family there. Leave your family in Florida. They can continue to soak up the weather. Montreal goes down to Florida every once in a while. It's fine. They go down for Christmas. You can still hang out.
Well, they play in the same division as the Panthers and the Lightning.
Look, Steven Stamkos wants to win a Stanley Cup, so he's not going to the Blackhawks. He's not going there. He's not going to Detroit because that's not working. He's not going to go he's not going to uproot everything so he can go and fade away in his career. He's been to the Stanley Cup Finals quite a bit. We saw what he put his body through just to have a chance to be there, right? So he wants to win. I believe that he continues to want to win and he will pursue that. And Montreal's the team that's coming there. They need a big winger who can score some goals, right? If you need Stamkos to play center, he can play that as well. He was a centerman once upon a time. And imagine him being able to just clap bombs on the power play from Nick Suzuki. You could have Stamkos on one side. You can have Cole Caulfield on the other side. Montreal's an up-and-coming team, and he knows it. Howie knows it. And we can all, live in harmony here. And like you said, Marty St. Louis is the head coach. Vinny LeCavalier is part of, upper management. He does something with a fake title. Why would you not come to Montreal? Why? You know what I mean? There's an insider out there. There's lots of great places he can live. Let's say he does want to bring his family. There's great schools as well. In the nice Brossard area, we can get a nice home and there's nice parks and everything. The facility's not far. I know there's snow. I know there's taxes and there's French people. But we can make this work, Steven. If we really, really tried, we can. And it's not the same pressure. It's just not it. The Montreal Canadiens need to get better. Yes. But he's not coming in as the guy who's got to do everything. There's other young kids around here to keep him fresh, keep him young, keep him scoring. Why not?
I love the pitch here. This elevator pitch for him to go to Montreal is pretty strong, and in some ways it does make sense. If he just cares about going to play somewhere that's different, that's going to make him happy around younger players that he'll play well with. Oh, one of your old best buds is the head coach of the team. I can see that happening for sure. Utah, I don't think he has any interest, but if that new owner is, like you said, trying to make a splash, what's a better way to bring in a guy like Steven Stamkos? And, people are not willing to do something. No, I have no desire to live in Utah, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's got a price or within reason somehow. So I can't think of his name off the top of my head. The new Utah owner, if he wants to make a splash and he wants to bring in a name that people are going to recognize that people are going to go out and buy jerseys for right away, there's your guy.
His name is Mitch Marner. That's ship Marner over to Utah. Let him go live there if he wants to go have fun. I do agree, though, that every player has a price, and we'll see. I just don't know if Utah wants to invest like that type of money for like Stamkos at his age kind of thing.
But I mean, usually they have so much cap space. I mean, I don't even know if they would care at that point.
Maybe, but I just think he's like, what a great place Montreal is to live. It's one of those like top 3 cities in Canada, obviously. Like it's not Toronto, right? The traffic is not as bad, but there's like just the downtown culture, Steven. You know what I mean? Like it's right there. I know there's no jet skiing on like your like house on the side of the beach. Like I get that, but I don't know. We can figure that out. There's other things that we can do here.
I do think ultimately, yeah, like you guys, he ends up staying in Tampa. I think it's a lot of posturing, back and forth, but they end up finding to get something done because that's just what's best for all parties involved at the end of the day. If Tampa wants to continue to be a playoff team over the next couple of years and try and milk this window for whatever it's left, they need Stamkos there. I do like, with Nashville, I think that's probably the best fit of him having an impact and them needing a guy like Stamkos. I don't think it's enough to necessarily put them in the classes of like the Dallases and those teams of the West, but definitely would be a nice fit. I don't think it happens. Detroit would be intriguing. Steve Yzerman running things there. Obviously used to run things in Tampa. I think, Patrick Kane, who knows what's going to happen with him. You inject him into that lineup. It's a similar vibe as Montreal. Detroit was right there on the playoff line this year. I could see that being an intriguing fit too. But at the end of the day, he's probably staying in Tampa. So it's there a minus 250. The Chicago plus 950 I thought was interesting. I'm like, is it really that appealing to go play with Connor Bedard? I mean, it is, but like, you're not going to the playoffs. And if that's how you want to spend your last couple of years, that's not how I'd want to do it. But I'd find
Chicago. I'm not going to go live in Chicago, deal with all that snow, deal with that weather just to finish at the bottom of the standings. Like at that point, go sign in San Jose.
Yeah, exactly.
Still be by a beach. You can still finish at the bottom of the division. Like,
that's saying in Anaheim at that point, if that's what you're looking for, go to Anaheim. San Jose beaches are not the best. They're not the beaches you're picturing when you think of California. Maybe Santa Cruz.
I just assume California is just beautiful from top to bottom. So.
I mean, it is, but in different ways. Like there's whole different vibes. Northern California, coastal California, Southern California. But so Steven Stamkos probably won't end up on the West Coast, but he could do worse than Anaheim.